ResortLoop.com is proudly sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Indulge in a taste from the South Pacific. Joffrey's new Disney Parks and Resorts blend, Alani, brings the islands to you. Blended with Hawaiian Kona beans and roasted to perfection, Alani is buttery smooth with a tropical sweet aftertaste. Available at Alani or Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final boarding call, and the doors will be closing soon.
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. What?
We need to laugh.
What
are you doing?
Oh, we're going to start over now.
I didn't know you were starting.
I said let's start the show.
I
said let's start the show.
We're not starting over. Go ahead.
Oh.
We're not starting over.
I'm going to start over.
I haven't talked to you in 2 weeks.
I know, 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Folks, we don't always see one another.
No.
We don't like it when you fight.
He was down at Disney World. I was someplace else. I won't divulge.
I will turn the show around.
So, Tim.
Yes.
What are we going to talk about today?
Everybody, thanks for joining us. ResortLoop.com. This, if you couldn't tell, is our monthly, maybe soon to end. No, I'm kidding.
I thought that was the ending. I thought we were done. I thought you were wrapping up.
No, we can't wrap up. We're just getting started. This is the DVC Roundtable. I love the DVC Roundtable for June 2016.
Uh-huh. We snuck it in. We snuck it in under the wire again.
We've just been doing that. Anyway, joining us on the show today, we have Miss Emily Hansa Hicks.
Well, hello there.
Hello. Rebecca Toon.
Hello.
And the original Super Looper, Joe Quattrochi.
Unlike J.R. Smith, I have my shirt on right now.
Boo.
Oh my goodness! But you're a champion to us.
Thank you.
Do you have as many tattoos as he does, Joe?
No, I'm still working on number 1.
All right, Tim. This is the ever popular, ever famous Resort Loop DVC Roundtable. What is on the plate?
I want to jump in with some news stories. I always like to start off with the news stories in the DVC. Joe, I want to start with you. What's your favorite news story of the month?
Well, for this month, I was excited to hear that, especially since I'll be staying there this fall, that Bay Lake Tower is undergoing a soft goods renovation right now. So,
has it been open that long?
According to DVCnews.com, got to give them the props for putting this out. Soft goods renovation would include new carpeting in the rooms and in the villas. The villas will also have new throw pillows, new bed runners, new drapes, new tables in the studio units, new upholstery on the sofa sleepers, and they've also repainted the walls. According to their site, floors 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 are completed, and floors 1 through 6, 15, and 16 haven't started yet. I know this seems kind of like, really, you're excited about this, but when you're paying your dues every year and you're a guest, going to be a guest at this resort in the future, you kind of look forward to having a nice, new, clean stuff in your room. So anytime Disney puts money back into the resorts that we pay into, it's great for everybody. So that's what's going on over at Bay Lake Tower.
Fantastic. Has it been open that long already where it needs a soft goods? I mean, goodness.
I think every 5 to 7 years they do a soft goods renovation. So I'm not sure if this is the first or second time. I know in the beginning there were, people were posting that the resort was kind of getting beat up pretty quick. So it might be closer to the 4 or 5 year mark. But I think 5 to 7 years they usually do a soft goods renovation.
All right, great. Has anybody stayed there? What are their thoughts on it?
Bay Lake?
Yeah.
I haven't stayed there since the renovation, but I have to say it probably was getting due. We stayed there last January, and there were... Now, Joe, you said this was...
They opened in 2009, August.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, so it's about 7 years. If my math is right.
I was going to say, the things we noticed, though, I think we had some dents in the refrigerator and things like that, and I'm thinking they did not do those.
Yeah, I have not stayed there, but I'm excited to stay there for the first time in this September. So I'm hoping that and to DVC's credit, I actually did get a letter in the mail stating that there is a refurb going on. So they did give us a heads up that I might be in a room that is not refurbished. So I'm hoping to get one of the studios that were refurbed, but we will see.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome, but a lot of that is just the fantastic views and the location. You're probably not going to think about the couch too much, you know.
Well, I'm on vacation. If I want to sit down and enjoy, a nice glass of rosé while I'm watching Sports Center at night, that sounds pretty.
Shirt on, please.
With my shirt on.
Get your shirt on, Joe.
Maybe that's why they had to do the refurb. People were sitting with their shirts on. I guess.
We don't need to see your Resort Loop tattoos.
Hey.
You guys got those too?
Emily, what's
We
your
won't tell
favorite?
you where.
You can also get really cool views of the turkey vultures, or buzzards as people call them, circling around the lakes. That is a really cool sight.
Nice.
Does Baylock Tower have its own check-in desk, or do you check in at the Contemporary and then go across?
It has its own check-in.
Nice.
And it actually is one of the, I'm not sure. No, actually a lot of them I think have separate desks at the bottom, but theirs is a full service office. So you can get, if your membership card is lost, you can get your membership card printed there. Bay Lake also has one of the community halls, and it's a really nice one.
Oh.
And of course, Joe, you can go to the top of the world. So that's exciting.
Yes, but
Special elevator.
Make sure you're a registered guest. I found that out the hard way.
Oh,
And
right.
staying on points.
Staying on points, exactly.
Awesome. Emily, what's your favorite news story of the week? What do you got?
Oh, geez, my favorite news story of the week.
Yeah, is there anything?
I am really excited about, it's not really this week, but there is a pretty exciting DVC Dooney and Burke bag that came out a bit ago. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten one yet, but I'm thinking about it a lot. So that's pretty much, as you guys know, I love the Disney bags, and I'm pretty much a Harvey's girl. And, I guess actually that's pretty exciting. It's not really DVC related, but Harvey's came out with a Star Wars themed bag. It's by an artist called Shag, and I got one of those, so that was exciting. But I would really like that DVC Dooney and Burke bag. So
Beautiful.
yeah, it really is. It's pretty. It's white, and it's got some blue accents, and it's kind of like a classic look. I don't really like a lot of the really colorful Dooney and Burke bags. I'm not even that. I don't really like those bags that much, actually. I like the Harvey's, which are the seatbelt ones, if you've seen those.
Yep.
So, yep. But
Very nice.
the DVC one's pretty. So I'm glad Rebecca agrees. It's white and blues, and I pretty much usually like that combination. But that's all I got for you for news. I know it's pretty.
We saw
uneventful.
we saw them when we were staying at Saratoga over Memorial Day, and they're just as beautiful in person. Of course, if you're a person, the new coach announcement was also pretty exciting.
Yes. And I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Danielle Nicole or something. But there are these clutches that look like, I actually ordered one for, I don't think my babysitter listens, so I think I will be safe. But for her very belated graduation gift, I ordered her a clutch that looks like Beast, complete with fur and everything. So I think I have an owl Kate Spade that she always borrows. So I think she's going to really like the Beast one. I know it sounds odd, but, and I may have ordered an extra one just in case. So for me, in case my hand needed an extra purse.
I just want to apologize to all the male listeners out there. We were talking about throw pillows and bed runners and purses. So.
Don't worry, Joe. We lost them about 5 minutes ago.
What they're doing,
guys, please come back.
What
Now
they're
you know
doing
what
is
to buy your
making
girlfriend.
lists for their wives and girlfriends for
Right.
the holidays.
Exactly. If you can't afford DVC, you can
It's almost-
probably afford one of the bags.
It's almost
Maybe.
Christmas in July, so it's true.
Right.
It is
Or whether
always
you-
Christmas in July, Joe. That is the correct answer. So, yeah.
Oh, Rebecca, do you have any news stories for the month you would like to talk about? Anything you've seen?
I think my favorite news story actually just came out today, and it is yet to be announced by Disney, but it's a very strong rumor that's making the rounds, and that is that we may be seeing a moderate DVC come into play in the not too distant future over at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort.
Oh.
And that has started quite the buzz around town in the DVC communities today. Whether you're a naysayer or a huzzah, it is definitely news.
I think Len Testa hinted at that a while ago when we had him on the show.
Once again, Mr. Len Testa is right.
Absolutely. Once again, Mr. Testa is spot on. So it's exciting news, I think, just the growth and the continued, activity going on in the parks. It's neat to see. There's a lot of conversation on, will the points be cheaper or will it just be fewer points to stay so that people are still on the same level playing field no matter where you buy. So there's a lot of conversation going on and what the impact of it being in a moderate Disney resort would have on the DVC community as a whole. So it's been an interesting conversation to watch.
Very interesting. I'm curious about that myself.
Yeah, I stayed at Caribbean Beach many years ago. It's a huge resort. I'm almost certain that they could probably pop a DVC in there and nobody would notice for years because they probably would never see it. It's a huge place, but they're talking about putting it in just on the southern edge, sort of just between the Caribbean Beach and Pop Century. So it should be interesting to see where they put it and the amenities that they offer and actually if it's true.
I think it'll be extremely popular. I remember when we did have Len on the show, he did mention that they were going to work on some kind of special Epcot access for that resort. If they pull that off, I think that'll be huge.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. So it could be very cool. I think the location is neat. And I think it's an interesting sort of middle ground for those people who are unsure where they want to go.
So I have so many questions about this because... and you touched on it. First of all, I have to think that when they call it a moderate, they've got to mean the point values because I don't know how else they'll work the exchange.
Yeah, I think that you would see them selling for the going point rate, but you would probably see per night points somewhere around Old Key West, maybe Animal Kingdom point values per night. Because I don't think that they could sell the points for cheaper because if you can buy those points and still stay at a deluxe DVC, you would definitely probably do that if you were smart. So I think that you would probably be looking at more. It would just be a fewer points per stay. But it would be great if you have a certain number of points that you then stay at a deluxe DVC and then maybe have a handful left over. It'd be a great place to use your those remaining points if you don't have a giant contract.
Anytime there's more inventory for us DVC members, it's for the better. That's all I gotta say.
Right.
Go ahead, Emily.
Oh, I was gonna say they definitely have to have still have a booking advantage at their own home resort though, because those Animal Kingdom value rooms they go so quickly. Yeah. They're just I've never seen one open actually. There's very few of them and they go very quickly, but yeah, I think they're small too.
Right. So they're small, yeah, but I think that it would be interesting to see where the per point price comes out, just to sort of see where it compares to the other ones, and it'd be interesting to see what amenities they might add to it to entice people over.
I wouldn't be shocked if they built another DVC and maybe didn't make it a moderate. And perhaps the whole talk of moderate is really just based on the location next to Caribbean Beach.
It could be. From what a lot of the speculation is that this is sort of the test resort to see if a moderate DVC would be popular, would hold its own. And then if it does do well, if it is successful, then they would probably build another standalone moderate DVC. But everything is speculation at this point. Speculation and opinions. A lot of people, Joe said, anytime there's more inventory, that's a good thing, and I tend to agree with that from a renter perspective. Although there's been a lot of sort of naysaying in some of the Disney DVC communities because some people feel like DVC's gotten a little too big. Other people who really have no specific interest in DVC are saying, just in general, the more resorts that you build that hold people just continues to increase the crowd levels. So at some point, do you need another space to put all the people that are now staying on your property as far as parks go? So there's a lot of conversation going on about the impact of resorts versus park space.
I can't think that a resort itself, though, is going to have that impact on the park attendance. If the argument is that the park attendance is going to go up because of the additional resort, if it's less expensive, I think that, there's so many people that stay off property anyway. Having more people on property is just going to possibly shift more people on property. And, I mean, there are still rooms, like, for example, they still have these summer rate specials going on right now. I'm sure, Joe, I think you guys are both annual pass holders, so you've got to be getting the same emails I am. So the rooms aren't all booked. And DVC members do sometimes book. For example, we're staying at Caribbean Beach for Wine and Dine at this point. We decided we didn't need the one bedroom at Grand Floridian for just the two of us. So we decided to save those points for a family vacation later in a bigger unit. So we're going to be staying in Caribbean Beach on cash. And that'll be a first for us since we've become DVC members. But I guess my point is that the rooms are the rooms, and the people that are going to come to Disney are going to come to Disney, whether it's for cash or points. So I don't really think that an addition of one additional resort is going to be the crowding problem that Disney experiences, especially not while they still have rooms available in the cash hotels.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be the straw that breaks Magic Kingdom's back. I think that, especially with the new extended hours at Animal Kingdom and Disney Springs' growth, I think you're sort of seeing a nice ratio going on of people to space. I think they're growing the space. I think it's natural to grow the resorts. Especially, as you said, you've got people staying off property. Why not, try to entice them onto property? And this may be one of the things that does it. So,
and especially being a DVC unit, I don't know how many buildings they plan on building. I assume it's probably gonna be something like they do with the Treehouse Villas. It'd be like the blank at Saratoga, it'd be the blank at Caribbean Beach Resort, something to that effect. But the DVC units tend to be larger. It's not like they're dropping another All Stars, in the middle of Caribbean Beach where you're adding thousands of rooms. This is probably not going to be that many. This is probably not going to be that many units where you're going to see that much of a dent. And especially like you guys had said, Disney Springs is pretty much almost completely open. Yes, we lost a little bit of the studios right now, but you're going to be getting Avatar Land online as well as, the extended hours Avatar Land. So there are going to be, other things to absorb, if any, the more crowds that these new rooms will bring in. But these are going to be larger rooms, and I don't think it's going to be like plopping down a value resort where you're going to get thousands of people. You're not going to be getting, the bands or the Pop Warner team staying at this property.
Mm-hmm. And who knows, it could be something like the tree houses or more like the cabins or something like that. It could be sort of a smaller, low population enclave of, who knows, maybe I can't sort of trace this down to an origin, this rumor, and so that's what's keeping me from making any kind of conclusions about what size it would be. What it seems like the moderate DVC idea doesn't really stand up to the rest of the model of DVC. I mean, it could be a less expensive one. I agree that they've been making like the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian. Those have been pretty high price resorts as far as point value or the points that are required to stay there. So maybe they're building another one like Old Key West, Saratoga, where the point value is lower, but that still doesn't equate to me to a moderate, because I think the Saratoga and Old Key West experience, the rooms are huge. At least Old Key West, you're right.
But I think if they do that and they don't call themselves a moderate, I think they have to add a certain charge, or not an upcharge, I'm sorry, but I think if they don't call themselves a moderate, they're going to have to plus that area somehow, as far as pools, dining experiences, lounges, because even in Old Key West and Animal Kingdom, which are two of the lowest point per night DVC resorts that you can stay at still have these incredible lounges and eating, restaurants and pools. So I don't know that Caribbean Beach as it stands now lives up to that deluxe experience. So they may not call it a moderate DVC, but I think if they price it out per point and per night value at what we're seeing right now with the Poly, they're going to have to add a lot of amenities.
Right.
It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about shifting gears all the way across the United States, where the Walt Disney Company has revealed the plans to build a 700-room hotel.
Love this
on
one.
the grounds of Disneyland Resort.
Now,
and they're
that's
saying
hotel.
that
Yes.
yeah, they're saying that very well could be a DVC component. They could have a DVC component, although they haven't announced that yet.
I think you can bank on it.
the only
I think you can
the
bank
only
on
thing
it.
they got out there are the villas at Disney's Grand Californian. So maybe this new one, it's going to have a rooftop restaurant concept, very similar, I'm sure, to over at the Contemporary. So and Bay Lake Towers. So I don't know.
That would be
what do you guys?
fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what do
Especially
you
if
think of
they-
that?
So they could divide the property and do, like, even if they did some kind of tower, they could do certain levels like they have at Animal Kingdom, where they have, certain floors that are DVC, and then they could have a concierge lounge, they could have a lot of fun with that. And I think they definitely need more DVC out on the West Coast if they want to draw people to Disneyland.
Yeah, that was my question for you guys. If first off, have any of you gone to the Grand Californian?
I have been there. I've not stayed there. I know it's extremely hard to get a room there if you are not an owner at that resort. But I have been through there. Fantastic lounges, the private entryway into DCA. It's an amazing resort. It's like the Wilderness Lodge on steroids on the West Coast. Like it's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So the question is, would you guys go there if there were more DVC available?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Especially on the way to Aulani.
There you go.
There you go.
We totally, and that's not even joke, because we were going to go. First of all, I looked at it for the Rebel Challenge run, and there weren't any rooms available. Surprise! But then also, if we go to Aulani with our kids, our kids are too young to do that flight straight through from Cleveland. So we'd have to break it up, and the best way to break it up, obviously, would be a trip to Disneyland. So we would absolutely, if they had enough rooms for us, we would definitely stay there for a night or two on our way to Hawaii.
Well, it's not slated to open or begin construction until 2018 and opening in 2021. So your kids will be teenagers by then.
So you got some time.
I wish. Or wait, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Well, I think we'll still be good. They'll still be under the teen cap, I think. So we'll
There
good.
you go.
And the renderings look incredible. The artist renderings that they've come out with look really great.
Yeah,
I got to stop looking at bags and start looking at hotels.
There you go.
All right, Tim. Well, we had some questions from some listeners for these guys.
We do. Are you guys ready to answer some questions?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is going to come from a friend of Rebecca's here. She has a question she can send on Facebook. She's a looper. I think we all might know her, but she goes,
Woohoo!
Is it wrong to do a DVC phone tour even though I know I can't buy? Now, when we answer this, let's explain what a DVC phone tour is for everybody. Who'd like to take the lead on that? Emily?
I think Rebecca should, because I have no idea.
Oh, well then, Rebecca.
So a DVC phone tour is sort of for those people who have expressed interest over the phone or via email. A representative will contact you and set up a what they call a phone tour, and it's basically just a phone call with a DVC representative where they answer your questions and sort of give you the most current and recent information on DVC purchases and what your options are. And usually comes with some sort of an incentive, whether it be a Disney gift card or some fast passes the next time you're at Disney or something like that. And so a friend of mine had said, is it wrong to do it even though I know I'm not ready to buy or I can't buy? And I said, certainly not. And, it's always good to know your options. And then I immediately had 3 or 4 people respond who said, yes, we also did that and we ended up buying anyway. So just a word to the wise that it can be, it can be quite convincing. But what I will say is they're very low key and no stress. It's a very no pressure environment, and they'll give you the information and let you make the decision. But as far as I'm concerned, it's always great to have the information. We've been taking tours and asking questions for 14 years now, so I have no problem with that.
And it's no different than driving through your neighborhood and going into an open house when you have no intention of buying a new house at this time.
Sure.
You might learn something new, or going to a car dealership. Your lease might not be up for another year or two, but let's see what's out there. There's nothing wrong with that. And trust me, never feel bad about Disney Vacation Club and wasting their time. Trust me, they're doing just fine. So if you're willing to give up the 20 minutes or half hour, however long the phone tour is, they will take the time to say that's what they do. So I would not feel bad about it at all.
Okay, so they're getting paid either way.
You got it.
Not only that, but you say something like, we definitely can't buy at this point. And maybe that's true. But when you start talking to the DVC reps, they have all kinds of, I will say about buying direct, they have all kinds of financing options with credits, things like that come onto the table when you talk to them. And so even if you think maybe this isn't, maybe you don't have, you're looking at the price of the contract and you're saying, oh my gosh, $20,000, there's no way I could, afford that. This isn't the right time for us to buy. And then you talk to the rep a while and you realize, well, you're spending this much money on resort stays anyway because you're still going to Disney World. You're not waiting. And then you realize that, with your monthly payments, you actually end up only spending this much for your trips per year if you're on DVC. And it's not always entirely the wrong time to buy, even if you think maybe that it is. So I'm not saying that you will end up finding that it's affordable, but what I will say is a lot of people that go in thinking we can't afford it end up with contracts and staying on points the next trip. So
yeah,
that's very true.
DVC can be really confusing, so I think it's smart to continue to ask questions until you're ready.
Absolutely. And had I done it when we originally talked about doing it, it would have more than paid for itself by now. I kick myself to this day.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm speculating on my end that if you go do this phone tour and you don't buy, and you mention it's not the right time for us, they might keep you in their email system. If any specials come out or any news, maybe they pass that along to you. Kind of keep you in the loop.
Yeah, it is a connection with, a DVC representative. And I think they, just like any other sales lead, they'll keep you in their loop and send you emails, when new things open up. Like, for instance, maybe, the moderate opens up. That may be something that they pass on to them as information. So always great to have that line of communication.
And there may not be a resort that you're in love with right now. But then, say this new one comes out and it's an amazing deal or whatever. They have great incentives and it's a really nice design for you. It's a perfect fit. You may find that a future resort fits your needs better than anything right now.
And then you can act quickly because you already know all the the details of it. So you can be in a position to act quickly when you're ready to buy.
Right.
And
exactly.
You also can get the most official answers, I think, from the DVC reps. Even if you're thinking about going resale, I would still encourage people to talk directly to Disney representatives, because it's interesting. They will try to, of course, sell you on direct purchases, but in that they will tell you what you can and cannot do with resale points, and that's really good to know and really to understand, especially as they try to do away with some of the resale benefits. So,
great,
very good point.
Good to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Another question here. This one's from Michael Martin. This is on the Resort Loop Facebook page. He says he loves the show and he's a new listener and has been hooked and listens nightly at work. Oh my goodness, hope he manages that okay. Hope he's not an air traffic controller.
Don't worry, we won't tell your boss.
He goes, I heard on one DVC Roundtable show that the cruises are not a good use of points. My husband and I are thinking about joining and was wondering if you could possibly discuss a little bit more of this on an upcoming show. Thanks, and that is from...
So
that's from Michael, I think. Yeah.
Now,
Maybe
I don't know if
Stephanie
anybody
used Michael's email.
That could be. But anyway, what about the use of points for the cruises? Anybody ever looked into that? I've heard it's a bad deal.
So yeah, I just recently priced one out because we've scheduled our first cruise ever, which of course I continue to insist that we're going to pick Tim's brain. But
yes,
we, I went ahead, booked it for cash, and then I went and researched for actual point values, and it was something completely astronomical. I think we ended up, now the actual cost of the cruise was astronomical too, but it was something like over 1,000 points for 5 people in one room for a summer cruise. Over 1,000 points. Now,
Wow.
that's like we couldn't even bank and borrow that many points. We'd have to buy so many more. And so if you think about that, you basically be trading 4 years, even though you can't do it physically with our points. We have 270, I think. We'd have to trade 4 years of vacations to do the one summer cruise. So if that puts it into perspective, now they did say you can use part of your points, so you could book per person on points. So we could book like one of the children on points and then book the rest in cash. And so I was like, okay, so how much would that be? And they said, well, that kid would be 240 points or something. Well, that's a year's
worth.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's like 2 trips for us, and then 2 week-long trips. And so I said, okay, so then how much would the cash component be? And she said, well, then it'd be $9,000 for the cash. And I'm like, $9,000 on top of giving you a year's worth of vacation. And you know what I mean? It was so, it was such a small, like the $240, I think it cut off about $1,000 off the cruise price. Now that's basically our maintenance fees for the year. I mean, it's a little bit, I'm being sort of fuzzy with the numbers, but essentially, what you should do is actually price a cruise and then actually call DVC member services and ask them how many, or look at the point charts, because I think those are available online, because if you're not members yet, you'll have to research it online and look at how many points that your cruise would require and look at that comparison. For us, it was not even close. Now, I will say our maintenance fees for the years, those 4 years, would be $6,000 or something. So if you're talking about pure dollar amount, yes, we'd be paying $6,000 for a 4-person cruise, but that's $6,000 for one vacation a year, and then we couldn't take any other vacations for the next 4 years.
Points. Yeah.
Right, and
so
that's
not to say if you're a DVC owner, don't ever cruise. There's, one of the most popular ways around that is if you're a points owner and you want to cruise that year instead of go to the parks, they say rent your points, and then take the cash that you make from renting your points for that year and put it towards your cruise.
Right. Because we could rent our points for probably around $3,000 at least.
Now,
and
how many
offset
points
the cost
did you
of the
say
cruise.
you have?
270.
270, yeah.
Yep.
So I think right now the going rate's around $14 a point, depending.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably get, depending on what you got, somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 for your points. So if you want to cruise, that's the best way to from experienced DVC members, and people will tell you, is to take your points, either rent them through a broker or a private contract, and then take the cash and use that to put towards your cruise.
And that is to say, we're a family of 5. If you're a family of 2, say you're just a couple, it might be cost effective for you to book either one of you on points and offset the cost of the cruise that way. Absolutely. And then, if that's your yearly vacation and you're not going to go to Disney World instead, then maybe you use say you buy 150 points and you go in a less popular time. Maybe it makes the cruise affordable for you to use your cruise, to use those points, right? To offset one of you.
Offset the cost and rent them to me.
Right, exactly. So there's, what you really have to do is you have to look, I think all of these things require looking at your individual circumstances, like what your plans are for that year, how many points you normally will need if you're going to travel again that year. So I wouldn't say, but I will say, generally speaking, it's a bad use of your points.
There you go.
There you go. It's been kind of the general consensus I've picked up too.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Who's next, Tim?
Next, we have Steve Kinsman. He sent us an email. He says, we've rented a one-bedroom at the Beach Club Villas for early December. There will be my wife and our 2 adult kids. He wants to know, how comfortable is the pull-out couch? Also wants to know, are there any secret pointers for a virgin DVC stayer would also be appreciated. And he says, thanks. So has anybody ever used the pull-out couch at the Beach Club Villas?
I have.
We did.
What do you think, Joe? What is it going to be
Well,
comfortable?
this was Beach Club just went through, or I think they're done with it. Just went through a refurb. So I stayed. Was it 2016? Maybe 2012, 2013 is when I stayed, and it was awful.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
bad. It was bad. We stayed in a 2-bedroom villa, and it was 3 couples, and the DVC. My buddy who owned the points, he had the master, obviously, and then myself, my wife, and the other couple we were with, we split up the nights. So we stayed a couple of nights, we stayed in the bedroom, and we switched out to the pull-out. Pull-out was pretty bad, to be honest with you. I'm a pro-Disney guy.
Was that before or after the refurb?
Well, this was before. That's my point being. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad back in 2012, 2013. They've just done a refurb there, so I'm sure the couch is in much better shape. All I do remember is the center bar in the middle of the bed was not good. It was very squeaky. But that doesn't mean that they might have put new couches in, so it might be better. So just tailor your expectations. That's the best I could say. Have low expectations; it can only go up.
Yeah.
So we stayed there 2 years ago, and my adult children slept on it for the duration of our stay, and they actually had no complaints. Now, granted, they're in their one's 20 and one's 17, and they basically could sleep on a rock and never care. So I think you've got that, that going for you. But they actually thought it was pretty comfortable.
Now, Tim, you got a little tip about extra people or using an extra bed. You guys every now and then take one of those blow-up mattresses, right?
We actually get the slightly more expensive. It's not just an air mattress. It's the Aero Bed. They usually carry those at like Bed Bath & Beyond. They come with a little power motor to blow them up. And actually, we got it for this first trip when we did go to the Beach Club, which is like 10 years ago. And because my kids should not be forced to sleep together, much less on a couch bed. But it worked very well. And actually, my older son preferred the Aero Bed to the couch bed. So we almost always, when the 4 of us travel, we just, it folds up like the size of a pillow. We just throw it in the back of the car, and then we have it just in case we need it. So there's a little tip for you, Steve.
There you go.
Do you have space in that room to put it down?
We did. Sometimes you have to move the table. Depends on the room. We've used them in all different kinds of rooms there.
It'd be about the size of the pull-out couch. So if you're using a pull-out couch anyway, you just don't pull it out and lay the air mattress down. I know I've slept on pull-out couches before. I'm with you, Joe. I get that bar right in the middle of my back.
Oh yeah.
And it's a bad Seinfeld episode after that. It's you can't move for days.
But I look at it this way. I'd rather sleep on that couch with that bar on my back being within footsteps of Epcot and the World Showcase than be off property a 20-minute drive away. I will sacrifice my body to stay at the Beach Club. I mean honestly, like it's first world problems. We always say that. Like I said, tailor your expectations. But yeah, it's not as bad as we're saying. I mean,
I don't think it's going to be. My kids didn't complain, and I don't, like I said, I think that for teenagers, I think it's a little different than us mature adults.
As long as Steve, as long as you make the kids sleep on it, you'll be fine.
You'll be perfect.
Or just make sure you're super exhausted every night.
That's true too. That's true.
And just for the secret pointers for the first time DVC stayer, one of the things we learned very quickly when we started renting DVC was the art of enjoying the resort. And that's sort of the tip that I give people that are moving from, say, a value resort to a DVC stay, because we were so used to staying in those value resorts that we were sort of, you use that to shower and to sleep. But other than that, you stay out of the room as long as possible and stay off out of the resort as long as possible in the parks. And while certainly that can still be true sometimes, we've definitely learned with DVC to sort of enjoy the art of the resort and staying at the resort and enjoying those amenities that they do offer.
And my secret is, take advantage of the room. You have, if you're in a one bedroom, you can have a full kitchen, washer and dryer. I would go and get a garden grocer delivery, or if you're driving, pack up some food, pack up some. If you like to have a cocktail at night, you're most likely going to have a balcony at Beach Club. Have the fridge full of snacks for breakfast. Have some drinks for when you get back from the park. I know for me and my wife, when we get back from our day of touring, we love to go, when we stay at the boardwalk, we love to go and sit on a balcony and open up have a glass of wine or a nice cold beer. It's just a nice nightcap. Use the stuff that's in your room. Use the fridge. Use the stove. Save some money. You're spending the money to rent the points. Maybe make toast some bagels in the morning. Have some eggs. And just you have something you can eat at your own pace, however you want it, and then you're ready to go to the park. So my secret is, do a garden grocer type delivery, or possibly, Amazon possibly delivers groceries now in Orlando. Or if you're driving yourself, pack a cooler, bring some food and drinks with you and have that ready in the fridge. Like I said, when you're staying at a value resort or moderate, you might have a small fridge, but that's about all you got. You can have a full size kitchen here. Now, I would use it, because if you don't use it, you're not utilizing, your full use of the room.
Which definitely gives those folks with special dietary needs the best option for being down there. Yeah.
We Go Shop also will stop at the liquor store for you, just so you know. So there's a little bonus
Disney
tip.
Dolphin.
And also one of the things we love to do, either Boardwalk or Beach Club, when you're going to the parks, if you get don't buy glass, but if you got canned beer or whatever, take a drink with you, as you walk. Exactly. Take one for the road. I mean, you save yourself $8 right there. So
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And by the way, I just saw that Uber has revamped their setup down around the Walt Disney World Resort and makes it easier for you to get an Uber driver. So you can always use Uber to go to the grocery store. So
beautiful.
That's always an option.
Very nice.
And if you're flying in, you can pack half the clothes because you can do laundry while you're there.
There you go.
Right. That's I'm going to piggyback on that. My best tip is consider owner's locker, depending on how many times you're going to go down there. You can pack super light when you're DVC member because you can store pajamas, swimsuits, flip-flops, sunscreen, sunglasses. We could literally get on a plane with a backpack, and then basically they deliver this giant Rubbermaid container to your resort. So we have, bulk toiletries, things like that. So we can just kind of show up to Disney World and have everything we need. You can even store your unfinished liquor in there. Not that we ever do that, but if you can't polish it off, right? And nice. then and sort of also what you guys have said, you can actually plan trips without park tickets. For Wine and Dine, we plan to go to the after party, but we're not going to go to any parks except that party itself. We're just going to relax in the resort. We're going to, go to the pool bar, hang out, go in the water, and just really sort of defuse. And you really have that luxury when you're going to come back over and over and over again as a DVC member.
Very nice.
Very nice. And Steve, make sure you're staying at the beach club, so make sure you use the pool while you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stormalong Bay.
Got to do it. Got to at least do it a little bit, even if it's cold out. Let's jump to our last email question. This is from Charles Wood. He goes, he's really been enjoying listening to the shows. He's been considering doing a unique purchase and would like our expert opinions. Then he goes, doesn't mean us, but he's just kidding. He goes, with all the perks taken away from the resale market, what about purchasing the minimum 50 points from Disney directly so we could get the perks and then buy the bulk of our points from the resale market? He's heard about transferring points. Does it matter who you transfer the points to? Does it sound like a good plan? What are your guys' thoughts on this? You understand what he's trying to get at there?
So I understood the first part. I'm not sure about the transferring points part, but I definitely understood the first part of it. And I think it's a great idea. I think I would do it in reverse. If you buy resale first and are already a DVC owner, then you can go back to Disney and you can actually buy a minimum as few as 25 points if you're already a member. So I think his idea is spot on. I would just do it in reverse. I would buy the resale first and then buy direct from Disney to get the perks.
Okay.
Just also make sure that whichever order that you do it in, you buy the same use year. I mean, it's just, we keep harping on that. I finally just got my smaller contract with my same use year. Thank you. So, that's an important thing. Just, however way you do it, like mine's in February, I matched them up. I'm at the same membership number. I'm good to go. You want to have one membership number. You do not want to have two separate membership numbers because it's going to be a mess. Everybody has told me it's a mess to manage. So just whatever way you do it, same use year.
Okay, for somebody who's just joining us, can somebody explain what the use year is just real quick?
Oh, the use year is essentially whenever you buy a contract, you're buying an allotment of points, and your use year, and I'm using air quotes, mine is in February. Every February is when your points will reset. So that is your use year.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
Now I think Charles is asking. Go ahead, Emily.
I was going to say so the question was about transferring.
Yes.
If they're talking, I think what he's maybe asking is whether or not he can use the points together to make reservations, in which case the answer is yes. So if you want to use those points together to make a reservation, you definitely can. If they're at different resorts, you're going to have different booking windows, as in your 11-month and your 7-month windows are going to be different at the different resorts. As far as an actual transfer, just to be sort of technical about it, transferring points you can only do once a year. It's where you actually give somebody else the option to use, another DVC member only, to use your points. So you can rent to anybody, but if you were actually to transfer points, they leave your contract and go to somebody else's, just those years, the amount that you pick for that year, they go to the other member to manage. So the other member, I believe, basically sees them in their online account and can bank, borrow, whatever, as though they were their points. You're only allowed to do that once a year, I think, per contract. So you could do it for both of your separate contracts. But I think in this context, he's not talking about that transfer option. I think he's talking about using the points together and then, and combining the benefits, which for the direct, from what I can tell, none of the specific benefits, the direct sale benefits, are something that would be separated from your, like, if you were to use your resale points, essentially, I don't think there's any of those direct benefits that only travel with your specific points. Like, you're still going to be able to get discounts and things like that based on your direct purchase.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just to confuse everybody else, just say what the transfer points is. If Emily transfers points to me, if Emily's home resort is the Grand Floridian and her use year is a January, I believe, Emily, that when you send those points to me, they'll show up in my account. Those points keep the same use year in home resort, I believe.
Right.
So it's not like her points being transferred to me, that will automatically turn into my Saratoga February use year. They'll still be Grand Floridian January. So just to confuse everybody else, when you're talking about direct transfer to member transfer points, the points stay what they are. They just go from one account to another.
But once you hit the 7-month window, everything's fair game.
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So there you go,
everything
Tim.
that's left.
You've just confused everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
So there you go, Tim. You can stop asking these guys to transfer points to you. They can only transfer them to other DVC members.
I know. I keep hoping.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, guys, before we wrap up the show, we always like to do a DVC Spotlight Resort. And, Bob, you're going to take care of us today.
What?
You said you would.
Me?
Yes.
All right. Has ananybody stayed at the Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort?
I have.
No,
So I can't just make stuff up then. I was hoping I could make some stuff up.
I won't know.
Well, it depends on how much wine Joe's had.
There you go. There you go. We can cut his mic. Don't
There
worry
we go.
About it. Anyway, hey,
Do they really have a dinosaur?
Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort was one of the originals with, of course, Disney's Vero Beach Resorts as the off-property DVC resorts that Disney started. It's fashioned after a 1940s hunting and fishing lodge. It's beautiful. I got to tell you, when we stayed there, it was just so relaxing, so beautiful. It is that kind of old South with the Spanish moss hanging down from the trees, and you're on I guess it would be a salt marsh Keep in mind, it is not on the beach, though. Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort is actually right on, it's at 22 Harborside Lane in Hilton Head. It's right off of the business route 278. So it's actually on, I guess that would be the north side of the island, which is the inlet waterway there. It's not on the beach side. They do have a beach house that is about a mile or so away that you can take transport to it. It's very nice. The beach house pool has a nice relaxing area. They have a place where you can eat over there. It's called I believe that one's called Signals. Everything's quick service. They don't really have a dining, if you will, sit-down dining. They have Signals, and then Tide Me Over, which is over at the main section of the resort, and it's everything was so good. We had a great time. They have a little splash pad for the kids over at the beach house pool, and the beach house pool, you walk right down some stairs and you're right out on the beach. It's not, I don't remember, Joe, it's not a private beach, right?
No, the access is private. Like there would be a gate where your room card will open up to get to the beach house, but no, the beach is completely public.
Right. So they do have some unique themed seasonal dining, Edmund's Family Low Country Boil, whatever that is. I didn't experience that, or the backyard barbecue. Believe it or not, rooms only start at $133.
Wow. For
a studio over there. Yeah. So it's they have two pools. Well, they have three pools, really. The Big Dipper pool and Little Dipper pool, which is over at the main building. And then the beach house pool, which is very nice as well. Like I said, they have like the splash pad kind of thing for the little ones. Donald Duck, when we were there, Donald Duck was the main character at that. They have all kinds of things that you can do outside of that. Activity programs for kids. They got some special golfing that you can do. Dolphin excursions, nature walks. It's really beautiful. They've got like a boardwalk all around the resort, so you're not actually walking in the marsh. You're walking on boardwalks. Great hammocks everywhere. They do bike rentals and campfires in the evening. It is a great, I can't stress enough what a great stopover it is for all you folks on the northern part of the Atlantic up there. When you're taking that trip down to Disney on 95 or coming back up 95, if Hilton Head sits in a place where you would like to take a nice little respite from your travels, you can't go wrong staying at the Hilton Head Island Resort, Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort. It is beautiful. The prices are not bad at all. When we were there, it was off season, and I walked in and I said, I'd like to stay the night. What are your rates? And the guy's looking. He says, are you a member? I said, no. He says, well, let me see what we got here. He goes, I'll tell you what, I can give you a 2-bedroom. You guys are going to choke on this. I can give you a two-bedroom villa for $164 a night.
Whoa.
What? Goodness.
That's another staying for cash deal.
I don't think I would leave.
Exactly. We did. We stayed an extra night, I got to be honest. And that was when we started to really look into DVC. And I can't even remember what the deal was, why we didn't pull the trigger. But it is a great place. If you're going off season, you might get the same type of deal that I got, where you're getting an apartment. We had an apartment for $164 a night. It was gorgeous. Kitchen in the middle. We had a master bedroom with its own bathroom. We had the other bedroom had 2 queen beds in it, and the main area, the living room, dining room area, kitchen is all in the middle, in between those 2 rooms. And it's really cool because you're on Hilton Head, which is a beautiful island to begin with. Great golf. And you're staying at a Disney resort, which has some hidden Mickeys floating around the place, which is always fun. So I can't stress enough, if that's a good place for you to stop over between here and or wherever your home is in Walt Disney World, give it a shot. It's beautiful. You might not want to leave.
That sounds great.
So, that's all I'll get.
And by the way, let me just add real quick. Hilton Head Island is the place where I was married, me and my wife, and we weren't married on Palmetto Dunes. Palmetto Dunes is a section of Hilton Head where the DVC resort is. Hilton Head's broken up into different sections: Sea Pines, Palmetto Dunes, Port Royal, so on and so forth. And I can't tell you even though the resort is not on the beach, it's literally a 2-minute shuttle ride or a 2-minute car ride. You literally leave the resort, the gate will open. You drive out of the area it's in. You cross William Hilton Parkway. There's a stoplight there. You cross over into Palmetto Dunes proper, and then literally there's sign. It's right there. I mean, and you have to use your key to get in. So it's not that bad of it. You can't really walk to it. You can, I guess, but it's gonna be like a while. They don't want you walking, but it's amazing, and it's. The Hilton Head is just it's one of the reasons why my wife and I bought DVC is because we love going there, and the two places we love going to, there's DVC at. So that was a selling point for us. Right. So everything you said, I cannot stress enough. We also stayed in a 2-bedroom. It was amazing. It's very quiet. It almost seems like how quiet it is. Yeah. The food is fantastic on the island. Can't stress enough how great it is. The golfing is fantastic. The only thing I will stress is that besides the main building, none of the buildings have elevators. So just keep that in the back of your head. It's a little tough to get up and down the stairs, but besides that, it's an amazing resort. Can't stress it enough. And everything Bob said was spot on. It's a wonderful spot, and we loved it. And
it is on its own little island, Marsh Island, off of Hilton Head. So it's part of Hilton Head, but it's its own little island. So you cross a little bridge to get there, and then on the other side of this harbor, they actually have boats and everything. It's just beautiful when you're walking along and you want to walk over to the actual harbor side area where they have shopping and food. They have restaurants over there. It's just a short little walk around this little harbor. And they actually have do they still have the Triton staff there in the middle? It's this giant Triton from who's the sea god? I'm not 100% sure. I was there in the winter time. Neptune. It's Neptune's Triton sitting there. It's just this
huge
sculpture. Trident.
You're thinking King Triton.
It's exactly what
Don't worry, I've recently watched a lot of Little Mermaid.
Exactly. But it's this trident. It's a giant sculpture of this trident. It's beautiful over there. Nice harbor.
That's Shelter Cove, right?
Yeah, Shelter Cove, correct.
Yes, Shelter Cove. And
in the summer they have fireworks.
Oh, do they really?
They do. I don't know when you went, but they have. Nice. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday nights every week. That they have fireworks.
Okay. And you can also pick up some fishing excursions from over there at Shelter Cove. That's correct. So that is Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort. Can't stress it enough. It's beautiful over there. Go check it out. Even if you're on your way down and you just want to get off the road for a little bit and go look at something else.
Sounds
go check
gorgeous.
It out. So, Tim.
Yes, Bob.
Are you awake over there?
I'm awake. How can I not be awake? It's been a great show.
That is all I've got.
Oh. Everybody, thanks for joining us on the roundtable. Bob, Emily, Rebecca.
Joe, you mean?
Joe.
Did I say Joe? Did I say Bob?
You said Bob.
Well,
welcome. You are
Thank you for having us.
Don't forget me.
No, never forget Joe, Mr. Quat. Anyway, if anybody has any other questions, please send them to the roundtable at questions@ResortLoop.com. We'll do that next month. We'll do another show. Everybody excited?
Very much. Super excited.
Oh, my gosh. Let's wrap this up. Everybody, I'm Tim Scott. You can find me on Twitter at ResortLoopTim.
Wait a minute, before we go.
Happy.
Yes. Is there more?
How long have you been awake so far, Tim?
It's been a while. It's been a long week with the
Are we talking
stuff.
over 24 hours?
Close.
Not yet, but it's getting there. Actually, it's getting close. Anyway, I don't know what I got to do, but please, Bob, where are you doing?
You know what? I'm going to ask people to share the Gateway to the Magic with everybody and thank them for listening to the Gateway to the Magic. Go ahead, Tim.
See you, everybody.
With 4 theme parks, 25 resort hotels, hundreds of dining and shopping locations, and seemingly innumerable special events and ticket options, Planning a trip to Walt Disney World can seem overwhelming. That's why the ResortLoop.com podcast has teamed up with People Mover Travel to help you get the most magic out of your Disney vacation. People Mover Travel will walk you through every aspect of your next Disney trip, from ensuring you get the best discounts to FastPass Plus and dining reservations and so many other things. Best of all, there is no fee for their service. That's right, you get your very own expert Disney vacation planner at no cost to you. For more information and to request a free, no-obligation quote, visit peoplemovertravel.com. There you go.
Oh, I'm panicking good.
Another masterpiece.
It is.
You know it.
This is how it works, guys. This is it. Hey,
Nothing but wins.